Welcome back to another off-season powered by the University of the Bahamas, Go Mangoes, and 10-Year Seniors podcast. We're here to bring you dynamic conversations between coaches, student athletes, and student alumni to find out what they're doing during this COVID-19 lockdown. This is a transformational show. We hope that you enjoy it. And remember, Go Mangoes.
I got blue with me, and you know I'm a Mango. I got friends who they don't even call me Coach.
Wow.
They just call me Mango.
So you just gonna have the mascot and be like, I win that one. I got you, man. No problem. But it's great to interview, man. This is gonna be a dynamic show. What it is, Coach got you, B-boy. Sasha, I'm about to take you off comments. Anyway, but let's get started, Coach Rolle. This is your 30-minute interview on off season. Firstly, how are you doing? How are things during the COVID lockdown? And now, of course, this is day one of freedom. So how are you?
I'm well. Been safe through the lockdown. Shed a few pounds, so I really took advantage of the time away from everybody, and looking slimmer in the waist. Thanks, Sasha.
Thanks, Sasha. Wow, I would join that train of shedding pounds, but Sasha won't believe me, so I don't want to mention anything. But let's get straight to it. Again, this is brought to you by the University of the Bahamas Athletics Department alongside University Relations. And today we'll be interviewing Coach Bacchus Rolle, somebody who has transformed the athletics department in that we are now consistently making the playoffs. We have gone internationally. And our team sometimes, although shorter, can compete and sometimes defeat a lot of teams, even in some of madness. We are tail and right behind D1 and high division schools. So, Coach Rolle, you have dynamically changed it. As an alumni, I always cracked the joke that I told Kim, I would have bet money UB would lose, but now I wouldn't put my money on it because I'll be broke. So you have done a great job.
Thank you.
I understand that you have a long history in sports, and that goes back to Little League baseball, junior national basketball teams. So how has it helped you in your development as a person? And did you ever see yourself coaching?
Yeah, truth is, baseball is actually my introduction to team sports. A lot of persons don't know that. And of course, many in junior league basketball locally. Wasn't very good, to be honest.
All right.
But I had a desire to compete and a desire to do well. Fifth grade coach / teacher, Mr. Paul Saddam at Kingsway Academy, really taught me the secret of winning. And it is training in the off season. So while they sleep and they rest, I was training. And I was developing myself over a period of time to be very, very competitive. It worked. Training or coaching at the University of the Bahamas was not in the cards for me, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I actually stay away from it. I wanted to stay away from basketball and the University of the Bahamas simply because, my wife was director of athletics. Not wanting to bring that kind of pressure on her. While I knew that I was confident in myself that I could coach the team, I want to put that pressure on her so that the outside community would say that, look, she's employed a husband, et cetera, et cetera. So becoming the coach is really, it's really funny how it happened. Actually, former coach of the women's team at the university, then COB Carib, Charlene asked me to come out and help develop some of the female players they had for the female team. So I would go and help out in the mornings during the off season in developing those ladies. And she snuck in a few male players every once in a while. And from there, it took off, It's been very good for me, to be honest with you. I often tell people, my 3 hours with those guys in the mornings, the most productive part of my day, and I enjoy it tremendously.
I want to ask, you mentioned one of your coaches' names, and I want to ask, has any of your previous coaches throughout your career influenced your style of coaching?
Definitely, in a big way. I mean, to be honest, my basketball style is directly related to a few coaches, one that coached me, two that coached me actually, and one that I had the opportunity to watch. So I'd say Sharon, the General Store, Moon McPhee. Those are local coaches. And then I had the opportunity to sit and watch Godfrey McQuay and watch him develop his guys, and took a lot of stuff from what he did. And, you know, all three of those coaches have really, whether they know it or not, they've emptied a lot of themselves into me. I'll say this, okay, so Sharon Storr is an excellent developer. He can develop anything. He can develop a player. He understands your weaknesses, your strengths, really helps you to see yourself being very successful in what it is you do specifically. Coach Mo Nakfi, the greatest substitution coach I believe I've ever seen. I had an opportunity to play for. He puts you in at the right time, because I need this from you right now. Now come sit down, because you've done your part. You know? Godfrey McQuay, he was totally involved with developing, and he didn't care what kind of talent you had. He brought that talent out in you. You know? So those guys really helped to push me. Whether they know it or
you're saying whether they know it or not. I think they know it. If they don't know it, they know it now. So you've been coaching, this is your 5th year coaching with the University of the Bahamas men's basketball team. How has that transition been from year 1 to year 5?
It's been, it has its pitfalls. It's been a wavy up and down. We've had, in my mind, great stretches. We've had some disappointments. To be very honest with you, I think my teams over the past 3 years could have gone deeper than they have. But, you know, just from embryonic stages to where we are now, it's quantum leaps. We appreciate it. I appreciate the hard work of the players, appreciate the coaching staff. I mean, my first assistant coach was Antonio Saunders, kind of like a son to me. You know, really love that guy. He made me continue coaching, you know, because I look at him and see his development, and it tells me that, you know what, maybe you have something to offer. And then, of course, LeVar Johnson, who came into the program my 2nd year. Great as far as he's my X and O's guy. I put him on an assignment and I say, hey, coach, look at that team. Go check them out. Tell me who the players, what they do. I mean, he's very good at what he does. He understands defense the way I want to teach it, the way I want to play it. You know, we are a perfect fit in my mind. We just brought in Tage Adley, I think, 2 years ago. He's very good with our bid, very supportive of the program, and us with developing our players. And all of these guys, in my mind. I can't remember the second part of the question.
I wouldn't worry too much about it, because we was asking like from year 1 to 5 what has happened. But I'm curious, what was your vision for the team in year 1, and have you accomplished that now in year 5? If I could add.
You know, I always tell people this: the only numbers that I really care about with this University of the Bahamas men's basketball team is the number of persons that we graduate. I don't care about wins and losses. I care about the development of my guys, how many players we graduate. And to be very honest with you, I am satisfied. I am happy with the caliber of persons, not players, you know, caliber of individuals that I'm matriculating to the program. It makes me feel very good when I look at these guys budding successes in their individual careers, you know, based on what they've chosen to do. So, you know, that is my vision. My vision, while of course I would love for us to have an opportunity to play in the NAIA, and the conference is very close. We can get to have a lot of games in. A lot of probably Bahamians can travel with us, and we just have a great program. While that is the vision, that is the ultimate vision. A part of that vision is developing young, contributing Bahamian men that are productive in our society. That's important to me. That's because that is the example for the wider Bahamas. We will not have players, and I say this all the time, we will not have players go to the NBA from the University of the Bahamas, no. But we will have persons that go through this program that can change and help to change this country.
That's excellent, man. Oh, a man with a vision. The cities they're scared of that. They don't know what to do with that when they have that, boy. But Coach Rolle, my next question would be, we've seen that on the sidelines, and this one is coming from a deep place. On the sidelines, you're always intense, you know, and I think anybody who's looked through our gallery would see you're always intense, you're always focused, and you're rarely quiet, right? So you rarely offer a smile. Do you enjoy this, like really enjoy this, or it is only some parts enjoyable, but the rest is stressful? Like, what's your temperament when it comes to the game?
Okay, let's talk about my temperament in general.
Right.
So, in general, you may not know it. My players may not know it. I don't talk a whole lot.
Okay.
Don't. So that side of me activates when I get in between the black lines. You know, I believe I'm a character. I think I like to have a lot of fun. I joke around a lot. And my players get to see that side of me as well. But, you know, when I get to the gym for the game, that's work time. I take that very seriously. Because I want to see if we're able to execute like we plan on doing it in practice. I mean, we practice 5:30 to 9 every morning. It's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be dedicated. Your nightlife have to change in order to be up for that time every day. So
I want to address a comment. We have Sasha saying coach is a clown. Is that true?
Yeah, coach is a clown. But when I get in between the black lines, I take it very seriously. So no, I'm not gonna grin around my players at the game. I'm not gonna play. We're there for business. We're there to win. We're there to tap into that place that place where we was during practice, which is a serious place that we come to develop. Now we want to show. We want to show and be. So don't give me the half stuff. Give me all. I always tell them, leave all that stuff home. Just bring me your heart. That's it. And then when the buzzer goes off, pressure's off. We can relax and have a great time.
I mean, we'll talk about that in the any other business section. I have a lot of stories I could share, and I can laugh at you both. So Kimsey Sylvester is arguably being one of the most important players to the Mangoes team, hands down. We even interviewed him and we talked about it, right? With his career over, how do you rebuild, and what kind of talent do you have coming in the fall?
Yeah, so Sylvester is a special talent, eh? Very special. But honestly, when I look at his talent, you know, Kimsey could be so much further, so much better as a player, you know. And so for me, you know, it's always been, you know, trying to pull the best out of him. You know, I think that he understands that, he appreciates that, and he know I always driving him and pushing him for excellence. How do I replace the Kimsey Sylvester in this program? I do not. I don't know how. We have to recruit. We have an eye on a few players that we believe can develop to something very close to Kimsey. We'll be looking at changing a lot of things with the team in the fall. I'm trying my very best to bring in a 6'7", 6'8". Can you believe it?
I believe it, man. I believe it.
Very big player. If that happens, then the dynamics of the team changes, because we go from being a team centered around a small slasher, centered around a big. It's gonna take him some time to develop, but we'd like to have him get his touches. You know, so the whole development process it will be a different one. The team may have a different outlook. We have our eyes on another incoming freshman that I don't want to say names, but because, you know, we don't want to scare nobody off. But these guys that this one particular player that's a slasher can develop into something very special and can shoot the long ball as well. So that is something that we're really, really looking at. We're also looking at a new backup point guard that's going to be dynamic. Very quick, has good court vision. I'd say he's about 3 years from 3 years away from being what Ramon Dames was. You know, so, and of course we have our remaining players. We have Christoph McKenzie, Donovan, Robert Joseph, sharpshooter. We have Corner. We expecting some big things from because this is his time now. All of the impediments are out of his way, so he has to really show us that he can bring it. And hopefully, hopefully he's ready to accept that challenge and the responsibility that comes with that. When
Right.
you're burdening the team on your shoulders, that has a particular weight that you have to be mature enough to be able to hold and carry.
That's very accurate, and congratulations too. I don't want to go without being said. Even the introduction of Joseph Robert, I think he's been a dynamic force to the team. It was at a point where I was like, I don't know what Coach Rowe could do next. You lose Shaky and Justin, then Joseph come, and it's like, like I said, in my head, it's like Joseph might be number 10 in my head instead of Justin Smith. So I'm curious to see how far this. You stopped me right there.
We always have conversations, and so me and the former players, we're involved in. We have our own group, WhatsApp group, and we're constantly discussing things. We talk about players. We talk about teams, and we've been talking about the ultimate starting five for quite some time. Right?
Yeah.
And I remember you. I watched. I saw you had Shaky in the hot seat on that. That's a very difficult place for us, for me, as the coach of the Mingos. And so, I wouldn't have a starting five. I would have a revolving seven. And so then it would depend on who we're playing, and what talent is on the other side of the floor. So some days I'd go very small and stick Kimsey in the forward and use Ruben and Justin, Shaky, oh boy, number 3, Rashad. The problem is these guys, they know that I don't call them by their names. I call them by numbers.
You call them by the number, yeah.
I call them by numbers a lot. So sorry if I make 1 or 2 mistakes. But so I'd have a revolving 7, and it would have to depend on who we'd be playing, and of course it would depend on how well you perform in your last quarter. Yeah, in the fourth quarter of the last game, because that kind of almost carries over into
Well, Coach, I don't want to even carry on with that because we know the number 1 fourth quarter performer is UJ. Let's move on to the next question. What do you say to high school ballers, parents, and coaches to convince them to come to the University of the Bahamas? And how do you look for, or what do you look for when recruiting?
Okay, so what would I say to parents and prospective players? The University of the Bahamas offers, in my opinion, a very sound education for Bahamians. I think that we have seen that the education that you would obtain from the university is, cannot be found anywhere else in the Caribbean, in my mind, or locally here. So if you're interested in a quality education, one would allow you to find or help to assist you with a very good standard of living, as far as finding yourself and finding a job in the area. I think the university does that for you. Mm-hmm. As far as a player, I would tell any player, if you're interested in developing as an individual, seeing yourself further than you would have seen yourself as a player locally, anywhere else, I would say come to the University of the Bahamas. We will find that player within you and bring that out. You have half decent skill set. We will put something together and bring that out in you. Now, you would become a part of a family that cares, and a family that motivates you to be your best self. So that, as far as players are concerned, that's it. What do I look for in a player when I go to recruit a player?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the obvious answer would be look for a particular skill set. Look what the player can bring to the table. But for me, really, I look at desire. Does this player really desire? Does he want to be a part of the university? Does he want to be a Mingo? Does he want to play with us? The reality is, I could teach skill sets. You want to learn to shoot jump shot? Well, we take some time and we teach that. You want to learn to dribble better? We can teach that too. Put you in situations that'll help to develop that for you. So those things come with repetition. I like to try to determine whether or not a player wants to be at UB, wants to be a part of the program. Because if you want to, and if you have a desire to be there, then your work ethic and your commitment will fall into place. And so it'll be easy to go from there. So we mentioned Robert Joseph. Mm-hmm. Robert Joseph, very skillful player. Works hard. You don't even see it. He's committed. He works. He doesn't take days off, right? Mm-hmm. But he wanted to come to the University of the Bahamas. Talk to Chris Saunders. He'll tell you. Robert Joseph hunted him down.
I recall. He tagged the Mingos page, his dunking videos, shooting videos. Yeah, he was hungry.
Yeah. So a player like that, to bring them on, would only enhance the program and makes it easy for the coaching staff, because that's a player that wants to be developed, wants to learn, wants to do better, wants to make his mark as a Mingo here in the Bahamas.
What would you say about I want to reference again? I always crack jokes with UJ, right? I'll mention UJ, but another player I take a liking to for attitude and determination and what is a Mingo is actually Tim. Like Timothy, I was there that summer when he worked all summer with him, Chris, and Donovan, right? I was there when he worked hard all summer and still got cut. And then I was there the next semester every day watching them, still coming out to practice, still being involved until now. I watch him on the force or on the floor now, dominating in the paint, getting some points, getting some dunks. And I'm like people didn't see it off season, right? They didn't see the work he's putting in. Can you speak to that from a coaching point? Did you see that in him, or what happened there? What happened when it came to Timothy?
Okay, so Tim was introduced to me and as a particular type of player. And so we went looking for that, but that wasn't what he was, to be honest with you. So he was not what we thought he would be. And we saw it in his first year. So we decided we would have to develop him some more. And he is bought into the concept of the family. He is bought into the concept of the notion that I have to work my butt off to get better in order to get some time. I'm not going to play a player just because I'm coming out. I mean, that's not me. We're there to win. I want to put the best players on the floor at the best opportune time for them and for us. So he has been getting his time on the floor because he shows his dedication and his commitment, and his development is coming around in practice. That's all it is. When we look at UJ sat for many years developing, learning, and honing his craft. Now UJ is a starting point guard at the University of the Bahamas, who, in my opinion, had an excellent year this past year. I mean, agree. even other referees, the referees in the league, pulled me on the side and said, "Man, this boy came around very, he's really showing out." Well, he's sat a while. You have to watch. Mm-hmm. Everybody knows that I am big on seniority. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that I believe in paying the dues. He paid his dues. He paid his dues. He took a lot of abuse from shaky games and workouts.
Yeah. Actually, I want to comment. I think UJ's in here. UJ's in here, but I remember when UJ first started shooting threes. Now, anybody who knows UJ short would look at it and be like, how does it work? Honest basketball fundamentals, right? Like, how does this work? But I remember one particular game we were down and UJ had gotten subbed in, right? And you were like, UJ, run the play. And UJ like had given you this look. And I was like, I know, my boy got to shine. Because I had to just record some 3-pointers with him, right? And I was like, I think UJ going to do it this game. And UJ took it, and it wasn't at the 3-point line. He was like further out from it, and he took a shot. And I watched you went like, UJ, what you? Then when he hit it, he was like, how going in? and that game, he would go on to, I think he scored, and I could get corrected, but I think he scored back-to-back, like 4 points and all that.
Yeah, he scored 19 points in that game. That was a very good shot you're talking about. I actually almost remember just about every play over the last 5 years without camera. Because when I come home after the game, it's not, I have to wind down a bit because, I'm amped up. So I replay the entire game, play by play.
That's good stuff, man. And shout out to UJ, man. As somebody who invented this thing, Mingos, that's who I tailored it after. Like, you have the grit, And that's two players, of course, we talked about. Timothy, knowing where he needed to fit in and doing what he needs to do. UJ taking his time and waiting for his moment. So we have 2 more questions, and then, ladies and gentlemen, we open the floor to you. I know that off-season training would have long commenced, right, given that we were in the COVID-19 lockdown. What has your team been doing during this off-season?
Okay, so basketball is a team sport. COVID-19 has not been good to us. Social distancing is the watchword, and basketball don't work well with that. So what we've been doing some strength and conditioning. We've been doing some strength and conditioning, trying to get our bodies ready, just trying to see if we can keep our fitness level to a place where once we start or once we commence training, it won't be that difficult. So team development will be difficult during this period, but individual development, strength-wise, this is the time. This is the time we should be working on our footwork and our quickness. This is the time, believe it or not, this is the time when we should pull out those tapes and study the game, study tendencies, learn what's the best way to attack a particular type defense. So there's a lot that can be done. We just cannot get lazy and say I can't go on the court. The park is closed. Coach we don't have access to the gym. We have to utilize our time wisely. Like I say, if I could lose 5 to 7, maybe 10 pounds in the off season, buddy, they could do a whole lot.
Yeah. And our final question for this evening, and again, ladies and gentlemen, drop your questions. We see your comments, but drop your questions. How do you think the delay in training will impact the returning players' development?
Our guys' readiness for the season or for training. Hopefully, absence makes the heart go fonder. Hopefully, the time away from the game has really caused them to fall in love with it again. Us wanting them to be even more committed to what it is we have to do. Our guys should be ready. As soon as we get back, hopefully they're running their 3 miles a day, getting the workouts in. I mean, we're doing a very good job with the attendance at the morning workout sessions. So hopefully we're ready to go. So we're going to just pick it up where we left off. And they know the motto, no days off, go hard or go home, and we'll be ready.
Thank you for tuning in today to another off-season. We want to encourage you to go to our social media pages and, of course, our YouTube page and subscribe if you want to see some of the live dialogue that happened in the past and, of course, today's episode. Thank you again and enjoy your day. Go Mingos.